And now we have Martha McSally. And would you please tell me, should we be addressing you Colonel or Martha or?
You can call me whatever you want. Martha is fine.
Martha for you.
Hello, everybody. I am Martha McSally, and I'm running both CD8 and CD2. I'm a retired Air Force Colonel, for those who don't know me. I was an A-10 pilot, spent 26 years in uniform serving my country. And before I go on, I want to recognize some special people here in the audience today. Karen Hendrickson and Sharon Svoboda are a part of your community here in SaddleBrooke. Sharon is the mother and Karen is the sister of a friend and colleague who gave the ultimate sacrifice and died in an A-10 crash in 1997 in my squadron out here in the Gila Bend Range. They know deeper than anyone here the price of freedom and the cost of freedom, and I just want to acknowledge them and the sacrifice that they have paid and the great patriot that their daughter is and the legacy that she is on. Thank you for being here, Sharon and Karen. As I mentioned, I'll give you a quick rundown of my background for those who don't know me. I'm an Air Force Academy Distinguished Graduate. I have a master's degree from Harvard's Kennedy School of Government and Public Policy, another master's in Strategic Studies from Air University. I was the first woman to fly in combat in a fighter aircraft. I was also the first to have the privilege to command in combat. I commanded the squadron here at Davis-Monthan Air Force Base, brought them from Tucson over to Afghanistan, commanded them in combat, 2004 to 2006, also the first woman in history to command in combat. I worked for a year as a legislative fellow on Capitol Hill as a defense and foreign affairs advisor, one of 7 in the Air Force selected to do that. I also took on the Pentagon for making our women wear Muslim garb when they were off base in Saudi Arabia, representing the U.S. government. I put my career on the line. I raised my right hand to the Constitution, and I put my career on the line. I filed litigation, and while it was working through the courts, I wrote legislation. I got sponsors on the House and the Senate side, Democratic, Republican, and we got this thing unanimously passed in the House as a freestanding bill, then through the Senate, and signed into law December 2nd, 2002, to overturn the policy. I retired a year and a half ago, and since then I've been serving as a professor of national security studies at the George C. Marshall Center. I've been teaching and leading senior government officials from all over the world as they transition to democracy, free market, and deal with the security threats we're all facing. Look, when it comes to the issues, you're going to see, and I don't want to speak for my colleagues, but you're going to see we have very similar philosophies. If you look at the conservative menu, we all want less government. We all want lower taxes. We all want to rein in the reach of Washington, D.C. We want them off the backs of small businesses. We're pro-life. We're pro-Second Amendment. I think we are anyway, right? I mean, we're all in agreement. In a lot of ways, we are preaching to the choir here, okay? So the choice you have to make is between people of very similar philosophies. Who do you want to send to Washington, D.C. to represent you? And I ask you to consider 2 things. You need someone who has the leadership, the understanding of the issues that are facing our nation, our community, the national and international issues, with the record to show that they're gonna get things done. I have almost 28 years of experience serving my government, commanding in combat, experience at the national and international level with the threats that we're facing. And this is serious business. We're at a critical time in America, so you have to look at that when you're making your choice. Also, this is a special election in a special district. There's special people at a special time. The nation is watching. What happens in this election is going to matter for what happens in November. It's the direction that our country is going in. We need to take the strategic look of who can win this election on June 12th as a conservative ideology who's electable in order to lead and fight and stand up for what's right in Washington, D.C. I believe I'm that person. I've fought for my country. I've fought for the Constitution. I'm ready to fight for you, and I look forward to talking about the issues tonight. Thank you.